Hello and welcome to Defence Line, our weekly program on defence, security and more. The Union Cabinet recently appeared to have taken a big step towards meeting some of the demands of the serving and retired defence personnel, something that would cost the Exchequer a whopping sum of rupees 2,300 crore. Yet the ex-servicemen are only partially happy. In fact, many of them are even more furious than before. The grouse, the announcement is nowhere close to their long-standing demand of one rank, one pension. How genuine is their demand? Moreover, how sincere is the government about meeting the demands of the men in and out of uniform? This is exactly what we discussed today in Defence Line with Major Navdeep Singh, a lawyer who has written extensively on the issue, Professor S.K. Sharma, former member of the National Security Advisory Board, and Major General Surjit Singh, former chairman of the Pay Commission's cell of the Army. In fact, the general appears to have got more grey hair worrying about the injustice to the Fauji's than while serving. Welcome to the discussion, gentlemen. But before that, let us look at this report.
The government did finally bow down to the long-standing demands of the ex-servicemen. It appears to have taken a step towards the demand for one rank, one pension, and also gave its nod for enhancement of family pension and dual family pension. The exercise is going to cost the government about 2,300 crore rupees annually. On implementation of the latest package, the pensions of officers will go up from 10% to 28%, while that of other ranks will increase by 9.7% to 13%. The earnest relief would be payable in addition. This means that a sepoy would be entitled to an increase of about 600 rupees per month in his pension, and the raise would be about 750 rupees for a havildar. The commissioned officers, the increase would range from about 550 rupees to 3,700 rupees a month depending on the rank. Family pensioners would also benefit by an increase of about 250 rupees to 2,500 rupees depending on their existing pension. Ex-servicemen, however, are furious with the government for trying to project the 2,300 crore rupees pension package as the fulfillment of their long-pending OROP demand. They have turned it a joke and mere eyewash, as according to them the government has just rectified anomalies created by bureaucrats in earlier pay commissions. Reacting to the allegations, the government has said one rank, one pension is a continuing process and it was taking steps in phases towards attaining it.
We are in conversation with three security analysts. Major Navdeep, let me come to the point straight away. Why are the ex-servicemen unhappy despite the 2,300 crore rupees package?
It's not a question of the money. It is a question of play of words. What the cabinet has essentially awarded is what was already rendered in the form of judgments by honorable courts. And the court said that the anomaly dates back to 1/1/2006,
okay,
and it has to be removed from the date of inception of the anomaly, that is 1/1/2006. And the cabinet has granted the same thing prospectively from September 2012, taking the pension based on the minimum of fitment between the pay band and not on the basis of the minimum of pay band itself, is what had been granted by the courts.
Okay.
And the same thing the cabinet says that we are now granting to ex-servicemen. Essentially, it is a judicial principle which the cabinet has endorsed, so it's nothing new, and it should be extended to civilians also on a modified parity basis.
But Navdeep, there are at least some things which definitely come as a relief: enhancement of family pension,
again based on court principles.
And family pension to the mentally and the physically challenged members.
That is based on the judgment of the Honorable Armed Forces Tribunal in Vinod Kumar versus Union of India case.
Okay.
Earlier, a man who was a handicapped man who was in receipt of family pension, his pension used to be discontinued on marriage, which was totally illogical and arbitrary, and it was self-created. There was nothing in the policy which prohibited it. And the court said nothing doing. You have to grant it to him after marriage also. And it is merely an extension of that, nothing new.
But even then, even if there are court judgments, you would still require a government notification to go about it, and I think that's what the government is doing step by step.
Court judgments need to be implemented across the board for all affected pensioners, for all affected similarly placed employees. Forcing people to individually approach the court and then granting something prospectively and not relating to the date of inception of anomaly is not a good thing to do.
Professor Sharma, you've been a member of the National Security Advisory Board. You understand the compulsions to the government, financial and other compulsions. So do you think this is something which definitely is a leap forward, a step forward, and which should be welcomed?
I think so. Reason is that there is no civilian you could say service, where one rank, one pension is there, except for the chief secretaries. They have said that okay, they will get 40,000 irrespective of their one. So if you segregate tomorrow, the government, if let us suppose tomorrow all other services which say that we may not be as useful as the defense forces are, but we are equally good, and you also give us the same benefit, I think the whole
But as
financial
Major
outlook-
Navdeep says, you know, whatever the government is trying to grant now has already been decided by the courts for the ex-servicemen and some of the serving officers, not the civilians.
No, yeah, that's right. That's what I am saying. That if tomorrow the civilian, let us suppose that the central government employees, they say they okay, because what is happening is the government is trying to go away from pension.
Right.
You see, you see that in all the civilian cases, they are saying that pension is what now you do. But in the case of the defense forces, they are going one step, rather two step more forward.
But for pensions, I don't think you can compare the defense personnel with the civilians, because most of them are made to retire much earlier than the civilian employees.
That is the whole reason. We are not attacking the problem at the grassroots, because what happens is spy, he just goes at 18 years and retires by 38. So what we should have is that there should be a very structured program that those particular people get re-employed, and some of the decisions which have been taken, for example, toll other security agencies also, they are retrograde steps. The government should try to look at that, so that those particular people who get retired, they are you see employed somewhere.
There should be some kind of a lateral induction into
national induction program. That is what required. This one rank, one pension is not the final answer.
So are you suggesting that we should, even in the defense services, do away with the pension?
Ultimately, you see, something has to be done. You see, here we can't, because reason is that the number of years which they are, it is much lesser. So from that particular point, I don't say, but I say that if you are going more and more, tomorrow the other services will also start thinking that okay, we should come.
But tell me, why do you think despite the government's announcement, the ex-servicemen are still unhappy?
Everybody needs more money. Money is always useful, especially for the retired people, because
but the retired people feel that they have been cheated repeatedly. That's the kind of strong language that they use.
No, even civilian. You see, what is happening to the defense forces? Let us suppose that a chief engineer gets the pension less than a junior engineer before 2006 and after 2006. It is not only in defense forces. That's what I am saying.
Right. Jal Sujit Singh, now let's talk about the other ranks first, from the Sepoy to the Havildar. There is the weightage of qualifying service. Now, according to the announcement, this will go up by 2 years.
2 years.
Now, I think that's quite a relief, no?
I'm not sure. In principle, I'm in complete agreement with Professor Sharma.
Okay.
Just take two figures. The total number of...
But he's trying to take away your pension.
I am, yes, and I am agreeing with him.
Okay.
We have 2,300,000 pensioners. They have given us 2,300 crores. It works out to 10,000 rupees per year. Since the upper ranks will get more, so the bottom ranks will get 400 to 600 rupees. 400 to 600 rupees is roughly equal to the DA which they get.
Right.
I asked a few people कि तुम्हें इतना और मिल गया है. They mostly said महंगाई भत्ते की एक installment और मिल गई बस. Now, it is not the amount of money. What people go by is relativities. You know, I remember one very old case. So my father was also in the army. In the year 1948, when the post-war pay committee met, at that time it was the first pay commission in the civilians and ours was post. Do you know that the salaries of officers came down?
Okay.
A major's pay came down from 1,000 rupees to 700 rupees. Every 6 months, my father's salary used to come down by 50.
So those are the
Yes,
financial constraints of the time.
I'm coming to something. The post-war pay committee had only one secretary who was an ICS officer. The rest of the committee was all armed forces. Arjun Singh was a member of that as a wing commander. Now, when we were involved with that exercise, then the officers and men knew that we have done this. That these are the national compulsions and we must now all become simple. The politicians themselves lived a very simple life and our ultimate was Mahatma Gandhi, who didn't even wear a shirt. So everybody said, all right, we must accept it.
So that's why you say that the principle of relativity is important.
It is, you see, if nobody has a television, nobody misses it.
Okay.
If nobody has an air conditioner, nobody misses it. But what I don't remember which one of them said, if you make a date 1st of January 2006 and make a very large differential between a person who retires on the 31st of December 2005 and one who retires on the 2nd of January 2006, I think that is resented. I've been with the...
So that must be that is the principle.
The relativity is what is bothering people.
But General Surjit Singh, if you talk about the officers, I think the raise is anything between rupees 500 to about almost 4,000 rupees. Now that's a substantial hike, no?
What substantial hike? Supposing a major was getting 14,000 or 200 rupees,
right,
and a lieutenant colonel, even a time scale lieutenant colonel who has not even gone through a selection process, was getting 25,700. Now he has been given 575 more, so that makes it 26,200. To the major you have given 4,000 or 3,800 something, so it takes him only up to 18,000. Majors, which constitute a very small number, because they had to go by what Navdeep said.
But General Surjit Singh, this is the kind of money that they get after retirement, and officers in any case are retiring after the age of 50 to 52 years. So, you know, granting this kind of money, and as you rightly put it, anything, most of them are getting pensions between 15,000 rupees to about 40,000 rupees.
It is relativities, it is nothing else. Relativity is like this. Okay, since I know about my rank, so I know.
Okay.
I was getting 26,700 until I'm still getting, because the letter which he has quoted does not say from which date it will be. The last line says it will be granted prospectively.
So it's August or September 2012.
From a date to be notified.
So you don't get arrears, is it?
No arrears. No arrears. All right. What does a Major General retiring yesterday? Yesterday in the evening there was a Major General with me. How much is he getting? He is getting 38,500.
Could be 37, 38.
No, it is 38,500.
Length of service.
Even after this increase, I get 30, he gets...
So he gets at least about 15 to 20% more than what you get.
More than me.
So that's the
So
kind of
relativity is continue to, it is, you know, as I said earlier, everything is relative with life. Nobody has anything.
Professor Sharma, would you like to react to what
the
General is saying?
That it is not only in armed forces. What has happened is that whenever there has been a revision of pay, bunching creates the problem. That those people who are in the earlier grade, so what they are put in at the lowest of the new grade, and they are given one increment every 2 years. So as you...
No, but Professor Sharma, coming to your first point, you said this is not only peculiar to the defense services, but what about no civilian service? Would a Jawan or a person retire after 15 years of service?
Yeah, that's right.
So I think you need to compensate the defense person for this.
That's what I said. Pension is not the only answer. You can increase by 1,000 more. Answer is gainful employment of the ex-servicemen. Government as well as ex-servicemen, you see, administration, they should work on this so that every person at least goes to 60
Valid point. Gainful employment to bring them at parity with the others. I'll just come back to you. Here it is time for a short break. When we return, we continue our discussion on the demands of the serving and retired defense personnel.